Yeah, and then look at that. Okay, I think it is okay. The package approval test does not exist.
You need to open the POM file.
We need to run Maven first, but how can I run Maven from IntelliJ and not from the operation system?
You click on POM.xml. Could you click on POM.xml down here on your left?
On my left?
There is a POM.xml, the Maven file.
Yeah.
No.
In your file list, scroll on down. POM.xml. Right there.
Yeah, just open it.
Double click on it.
Double click, okay.
There we go. Now I can look at it.
Yeah.
So move down. Normally they will show you the dependencies that are not in there. The red. Yeah. So approval test hasn't been downloaded. So you can just go and say reload or download.
Yeah, you can right click on it and say, reload project.
And
it's
not trying to run maybe, but I cannot. I don't know how to do this from IntelliJ because I usually do this from my terminal.
I know how can do that. You can click on the add configuration on the button, add configuration on the top right.
See where the green hammer is on the top?
Yeah, the green. Exactly. Right after the green hammer, and then you can add the configuration for Maven. Yeah. That's the idea, and then you can just put compile or something like that. You need to type compile, something like that, or build. Yeah, that's it, and let's test.
Yeah, that shouldn't be necessary. IntelliJ should do all that for you.
Exactly, Scott. But let's see why something's happening.
It's just not working for us today.
Look at that. Oh God.
Because I am on my company's laptop, so there is a lot of security here. It's trying to download from.
Okay. So that's why. Okay. Now I see. Okay. So now it makes sense. So it's not trying to get the dependencies from the public repository. Instead, it's trying to get the dependencies from your private. Yeah.
I think there is only one thing I'd like to do is here. Choose settings. I will delete this.
You can just rename. If I used to have this kind of problem because I would either I would be using the private dependency repository, or either I would use the public. So in order to switch from one to the other, I would just rename the settings.
Okay. No, it's working.
Good.
Hey, but you know what? I think that if you click on the reload Maven, it should work now. I think that you don't need to use that anymore. I think if you click on the
I will just wait to.
Yeah, but I think that this will also make the trick probably.
Okay, thank you, David.
So glad you're on the call here, Davi. It's helpful.
Nice.
So while we wait for this, we can look at the Gilded Rose program. Oh, here we go.
It's showing great. You can just invite that catch and it loads again.
Sorry.
Click on. Just go on files, click on files up, then you click, invalidate cache.
Invalidate cache.
And restart, Try to.
In this computer that I usually use a virtual machine, and in that virtual machine, everything works on my job. But I'm now outside of the virtual machine, so my environment is very
locked down. Banks are that way.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Ali.
Okay.
It's indexing.
So if you go to the Gilded Rose Java file. So you can look in here and see how it works.
Okay.
Quickly read it, have a complete understanding of how everything works. And
excuse me,
yeah, that's the whole point. This is some really obfuscated, crazy code. It's all one function, update quality.
One function, 60 lines. Scott, I have a question for you. What's the first steps that we need to do when refactoring? Because in the last sessions, you started by another point that I think it's more advanced. For example, for me, one of the first things that I do when refactoring is looking for literals, constants, that for me easier things to refactor.
Yes.
But there is a good order to do the refactor. This is my question.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good way to begin, is to replace the literals with something, with some constants, just to sort of clean things up. You can see that there are magic numbers all over the place in here. We've got these strings that are reused all over the place, and so those are quick ways that we can start cleaning things up. So let's see here. Scroll down a little bit and let's see how. So those strings are reused a number of times. So, and then let's go look at the test. I don't know if we have code coverage for our tests. So go to the Gilded Rose approval test. So we have foo and we have 30 days.
Run it?
Yeah, why don't you run both the tests, line 14. So you can do that. Trying to see here, fake output, get bytes. Set out and set in main. I don't know what that's doing. Whatever it's doing, it's failed. So, oh, you don't have a diff tool installed here. Oh, there you do. Look at that. All right. Okay, so that's got a whole bunch of stuff in it. So, yeah, you can go ahead and approve of both of those. OMG, hi.
To do this?
Yeah. And save that. And then if you rerun the test, then it should be green. My guess is. There we go.
Only the first. Yes.
Oh, you didn't. Well, yeah. I wanted to see if we have code coverage. So yeah, so we can go to the yeah, you can go and copy what's in the approved to the received, or from the received to the approved, and yeah, that'll work. So all right, now we're all green. So if you click on the shield up there next to the little bug at the top of your screen there, there, yes. I just wanted to see if that gives us coverage of the project. And we got 100%, 100%, 100%. Okay. That's good. All right. So we don't have to go and create tests for this. We have tests. That's a good thing. So let's go to the gildedrose.java. And we can do what you suggested there. We've got magic numbers and magic strings. So let's go ahead and pull those out.
Yeah, the first thing that I observed is this number.
50.
I think if I was doing my way, I would start from here. But what was your suggestion?
Well, let's search through the code for all the 50s and see if they're all a quality value. Everyone is a 50. Okay.
Quality, yes.
And it's always a quality. Okay, so let's create a refactor, introduce a constant, and call it quality 50. Because I don't know what a quality of 50 means, but do we have any other?
Yes.
Usually it'll give you the option to go and replace all of them. So let's go ahead and replace all the 50s with quality 50 refactor.
Constant replace all codes.
There you go.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, and there's
okay, now there
quality
is
50 seems to be
6, but only one code.
yes, they've got 11 and a 6. So, and those are both cell ends. Well, let's go ahead and create those as well.
Okay.
Okay. So we can replace the string age debris with a brie. We can change the backstage pass with backstage pass. Sulfurous with sulfurous.
2 cores.
replace all. Yeah, that'll be good. Those are all the same. It's just an item name. Replace all, we can probably make that shorter.
Sorry. Okay. This one.
And the sulfurs. Yep. So let's go ahead and replace all for that as well. Good. So now we've cleaned up the strings. We've cleaned up the magic numbers. And if we look through, this is going to this items sub I a whole bunch of times. Let's just create a variable for items sub I. So on line 20 there, go ahead and just highlight items sub I and extract that into a variable. Introduce a variable. There you go. Replace all 34 occurrences. Yeah, let's call it item. Yeah, or current item, that's fine. There you go. So now we'll be able to move stuff around more easily. Now the next thing I like to do is you see all the indentations there. My guess is that there's probably a way to take the indented stuff and stick that into a subroutine.
Okay.
So we'll take the most indented. So you've got this quality 50. Well, that looks like it's duplicated there for cell 11 and cell 6. The quality is less than 50. Then quality equals quality plus 1.
Yes, there are a lot of check.
Mm-hmm. It's just that, you know, those two, you're doing the same thing. Let's look at the other places where we check quality equals 50. What do we do? We scroll down a little.
These two, what do you ask?
Right. So right there, where we say if quality is greater than 50, then quality or quality is less than 50, then we increment it by 1.
Yeah,
Let's
what's
look in
that
the other
shortcut?
places.
Leonardo, what's that shortcut? I see the thing every time you're selecting, it pops up the window with highlighted stuff. What's the shortcut?
Control Shift F.
Control Shift S.
Yeah, he's just doing a find.
Yes, I'm finding now.
So find everywhere in the code.
Okay.
So there is 4 occurrences of these,
right.
but
So let's look at each one and make the window a little wider there, so we can see what happens here. So if quality is less than 50, okay, then this does a whole bunch of stuff. The next one, that increments the quality. All right, the next one, that increments the quality, and the next one, that increments the quality. So let's replace that duplicated code with a function called increment quality.
Okay. Only the inside or the wall?
All 3 lines, because I mean that seems to be duplicated a lot.
Okay.
So refactor extract method.
It's a good way to do this increment if quality
less than 50, below 50. There you go.
Less. That's the
That is honest. So,
okay.
I generally don't like its suggestions when it does that, but okay.
Let's see what. But there's more occurrences than the
Yeah.
training.
Yeah.
I think this big.
Yeah, let's just do an undo, because it
Yes.
is trying to generalize something that we weren't really thinking of. So let's do that again.
Okay. Okay. Let's try again.
Method. Increment quality if qualities is less than 50. Yeah.
Refactor.
And then keep the original. There you go. Oh, yeah, replace all. There you go.
Okay.
Good. All right.
All right.
So now realize we still don't really understand what this thing's doing. So so it's okay. We're just going to go in tiny little steps. So there's a cell 6, cell 11, current name, backstage TAC file 80 concert. Current name, sulfurous Ragnarok. Okay. So it looks like we decrement the quality if it's greater than 0 up here. Current item sulfurous Ragnarok. And
This one, let me see. Only one occurs. My decrement is only one.
there's only one. There's another one right there.
No, let me see this again. No, there's two. Line 5 and line 63. There's two.
Yeah. Doesn't feel like we're making a lot of progress here. I'm wondering if we can collect all the stuff having to do with sulfurous in one place so that we can sort of divide it up into, you've got different items, and depending on what item we're doing, we'll do something different. Right? So you got current name is H Brie. So if it's H Brie and it's not 80 concert, so let's just try this. Here's an interesting little technique. Yeah, so we can, one thing you can do, so if you notice all of this is in one method, right? It's all in the update quality method. So yeah, just scroll down, you see everything is in one method. Except for the one function that we created. And so, and it's just zigzagging all over the place. So what we'd like to do is is figure out how to break things up in a useful way. And so I see these item names repeated all over. And so what I want to do is extract out by item name. So if you go to line 20 and a half, so create an empty line in between there. And if you say, what are you doing here? No, you're getting way ahead of me here. So on this, what I want you to do, so go ahead and create an empty line in between there. And I want you to create an if statement that says if true, open, okay, and then do an else. And now we have this hasn't broken anything. So what we'll do is we'll take all of the code from line 26 down to the bottom of the function. I think it's to there, right? And we'll put it there, and then we'll also put it in the else. So basically, this is going to run half of the code, and it's going to ignore the other half. So if you go ahead and run the code coverage, our test should still click on the shield. So the test should still pass. We're still green, okay? And then if you look at the code coverage, you'll see that we got a bunch of green and then we got a bunch of red.
Oh, it's weird, but because it's showing 100% of lines,
it's really odd.
Let's see again.
Well, okay, let's take a look at this here. So you got 30 days and foo. All right, so you got this squeezed down so tiny I can't see anything. So let's just double click on the name of the file so we can see everything.
Okay.
Or you can do that. Oh, well, okay, so it's got it all collapsed because it's not running. So if you uncollapse it, no, it's
if true, this is
true.
Green side the true, and this is green side the else. It's very strange. This is the coverage. No.
No, there's nothing there.
This green line is from Git.
Right.
Not for coverage.
Yeah, there is nothing there, so that doesn't get run at all. Okay, so now what I'll do is I want to change if true to be if current item name equals aged brie. So just copy that and put it in there. And now if we run the code coverage again, this should give us a different result. There, see, now we've only got 80%.
Yeah.
All right. So here we go. This is just an interesting little technique. So you see how we've got this line 24 through 27 are red. That's because if current item name equals aged brie, you see it says if it's not aged brie, then we do all this other stuff. Well, so that will never be run. So if it has red associated with it, if the lines are red, then they'll never be run. So we can delete those. So line 25, well, that's sort of the end of the if. So yeah, go ahead and delete that. And then line 31, 32, those are red.
But to do this, we have to trust 100% that our approval test is well designed and covering every cases. Okay.
Right.
Because if our test is not
Right.
complete,
Oh, absolutely. You have to have code coverage on this. No question. So you take that out, take the next one out. Okay. Go on down, you got this here. You get rid of that. And the else. Else is all red as well. Okay. And that one there. Very good. So let's run our tests again and see if we've got, oh, wait, what is, we have
line 24 too.
I'm sorry?
Line 24, I have to delete the line 24.
Right. So, yeah, that never gets run because that's never true. And so, yeah, we can get rid of the, yeah, we've got that is empty. So if you do an alt enter on that not sign, it'll say, do you want to invert the if statement, because that's empty in there.
Okay.
So you put the cursor on the exclamation point. There, and then you do alt enter. So go back to line 23, put the cursor on the exclamation point. You see how it's got the if and it's empty, and then the else. So just put the cursor on the exclamation point.
Okay.
And hit alt enter. No, undo that. Now hit alt enter.
Alt enter.
Remove the if statement. Yeah, you want to use the automated refactorings as much as possible.
Okay.
Because we'll have a tendency to not notice things, and it's designed to check that out. Okay. So we've got this aged briefing, and that's all working for that. And then the rest is the not aged briefing. So let's go back up to the top. So everything in here has to do with aged brie. And you look and you see how it says if it's not sulfurous hand of Ragnarok, well, that will be true all the time, right? Because it's aged brie. If it's aged brie, it won't be sulfurous hand of Ragnarok. So we can get rid of, basically, if you go to the exclamation point and hit alt enter, unwrap the if statement. There you go. Now you've got that other brown thing there. So if you go to the exclamation point and you hit alt enter, remove the if statement. Okay. So now we've got everything having to do with HBRE right there. Let's do the same thing. We're in the else statement, and so create a on line 34. Say if true, else. Okay, and then take everything from there down to the bottom. Stick it in there and stick it in the bottom. Okay. So we've already done the HBRE thing. Let's do the backstage passes to attack file 80 at C concert.
You run the test again?
Sure. Okay. So let's on line 37.
37.
Let's grab the current item name equals backstage passes. Humana. So grab current item name dot equals backstage passes to attack file 80 at C concert. Not the not sign.
Okay.
Take that, copy it, and put that where true is on line 34. Okay, so now we can run our coverage again. Notice we still don't know how this works. We don't know what it's doing. And we have redness. That will never be run. So we can go ahead and get rid of the lines 38 through 40. There you go. All right, let's look for more red.
All the lines.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Is there any more red down there?
Yes.
There's a bunch right there. Okay. Okay. And that line can go away. All right. Excellent. So yeah, you can go to that else. Basically, wherever you see brown now, you can do an Alt Enter and it should be able to clean it up.
Okay.
So
Same thing here now.
yeah, so do an Alt Enter. Yeah, don't highlight anything. Just click your mouse there, do an Alt Enter. Unwrap the if statement. There you go.
Okay.
All right. There's some, yeah, they're on line 36. Click on where the little exclamation point is, or on the if, hit Alt Enter. Remove the if statement. Boom. They're on line 55. You got an if that's brown.
55. Okay.
Click on that, do an Alt Enter. You can do that if you like. Sure. Or there you go.
Inverted.
Invert the if condition. There you go. All right.
Okay.
See this all right.
All right.
So you've got more brown there on line 55.
This is the same test.
Okay. Go to line 55. To the right, to the right, to the right, to the right, to the right.
Right.
There you go. And then we'll click somewhere where it's brown. Maybe the minus sign. Okay. There, and hit Alt Enter. Simplify. There you go. Good.
Let me see this again. Sorry. Simplify.
And say quality minus quality. That would
Very
be
useful.
0.
Simplify.
Okay. Scrolling down a little bit. All right. So that's brown. So go ahead and click on the exclamation point there on line 63.
63. Exclamation.
There, hit Alt Enter. Simplify. There you go. Do it again, Alt Enter. Go back up.
Revert,
No.
invert.
Escape key. Go back up. Line 63, Alt Enter. Simplify. There you go. Go to line 74. Just click right there inside the brown part. There you go. Alt Enter. Unwrap. Do it again, line 74.
Oh, sorry.
Alt Enter. Simplify. There we go. All right, so that's all cleaned up. Scroll up to the top. So we've got HBRE and we've got the backstage pass. So let's go to the bottom of the if statement for backstage passes. And let's go up. So you got the sulfurous hand of Ragnaros. Let's go up a bit. So they're at the else. So line 61, add an if true, else. And then we'll do this current item equals sulfurous hand of Ragnaros.
All this code?
Nope, you just want to take current item name dot equals sulfurous hand of Ragnaros. On line 68. Yeah, just the check for current item equals sulfurous hand of Ragnaros.
Okay.
Not the not statement, just the current item name
Okay.
equals sulfurous.
Okay.
There you go. Copy that. Put that where true is. And then let's take all the code from 67 down to the bottom. There you go. Put that in the top and in the bottom. Okay. One more time, let's get rid of the red. So line, there you go, line 65 can go away.
All these.
That's fine. If you're comfortable doing that, I just prefer to just get rid of the line that's red and then let IntelliJ clean it up for me.
Okay.
Because I have to think too hard.
I will do the baby steps.
Get rid of that line. Okay. And we got rid of all the red. Okay, now let's go through and clean up the brown. So any place you see a brown, just click there.
Oops.
No, line 65.
65.
Click on that if statement.
Brown. Okay.
Yeah, hit enter, alt enter. Remove the if statement. There we go. Do that again, line 64. If statement. No, it has to be on the has to be on the if statement. Click where it's brown. Alt enter. Alt enter. There you go. You got another one. Alt enter. Inverted.
I was not seeing the brown, but now
now you see.
Now I
okay.
See move.
Just invert the if condition.
Okay.
There you go. All right.
Okay,
now you got brown there in 65. Simplify. Sure. There we go.
Brown. Simplify.
Simplify.
Or wrap.
Either way, whichever you prefer.
Okay.
And then 72.
Oops. Sorry. Simplify.
Okay.
All right.
So we've now got, so we can quickly scroll through here and we can see if it's a, scroll to the top. The tippity top there. All right, so if it's aged brie, we got all this stuff here. All right.
All right.
And then, so you can minimize that for now. So, and if it's backstage passes, we got all this stuff. So now backstage passes, if you go to line 48, you see where it's not Sulphurous Hand of Ragnaros. It won't be Sulphurous Hand of Ragnaros because it's a backstage pass. So you can get rid of line 48 and
sorry.
yeah, you can get rid of that.
Remove it.
And it doesn't, for some reason, it doesn't check. It doesn't notice that you'll never get to there. So just delete 48 and 50 there. All right.
Okay.
So this is all what happens for backstage pass. Scroll on down. So if current backstage, that 52 is going to always be true. So you can make that go away. And line 51 is going to always be true. It'll never be aged brie because it's a backstage pass. And make that go away. All right. So there's our backstage pass code. And now we'll look at the Sulphurous Hand of Ragnaros code. So minimize that. For us, you got all this stuff. Well, that's wait a second. That's if it's not sulfurous. So sulfurous does nothing. So that's for if it's anything else. You don't have to do that. I mean, basically, this is if it's anything else. So this is our default case. We've got aged brie, we got backstage pass, and we have a default case. So now we could, if we wanted to create an object, we can break this up into objects to say, okay, we've got different item object types, right? So you create an item object, and then subclass it with an aged brie object, subclass it with the backstage pass object, subclass it, and basically your default object would be lines 56 through 66. But we've just done a really quick refactoring without having to understand exactly how it works. Since we just had a bunch of these if statements in a single function, it made it easy for us to be able to use this really simple technique to break it up. Because otherwise we're kind of wondering, what do we do with all of that? How do I cram the one type of object code all into one place. Well, we pick one and we just use our code coverage. If we've got our tests, we can do that really quickly and easily. So we can continue on refactoring, but I mean, at some point you just have to stop. So anyhow, I thought I would show you this interesting technique, and thought it would be helpful and useful. I wanted to give Leonardo an opportunity to experience the strong pairing approach and the refactoring approach. So I hope this was helpful.
Yes, so for me, it was very helpful. I learned a lot of shortcuts in IntelliJ that I didn't know. I will try to use in my job.
Very good.
Hey, Scott, I have just a question here. In the beginning, before we started to refactor, I saw that you, I consider this is kind of a habit that you have, that you, before engaging on real refactoring, you carefully first check if the code is covered enough. So you click on that tilt button, okay?
Yeah.
And then you check what's the coverage of the code,
Right.
And I remember that in our last session, the situation was different because we the code that we were working on that session was different from this one. So I remember that in the other session, there is no 100% coverage in that session. And then I remember that you said, hey, when you don't have the coverage, okay, what you need to do, you need to write some kind of test to increase the coverage. And then I remember that you described the name of this test. I think it's explanatory or identification. I just cannot remember the name. Can you share because I think this is very important, because I can see these two techniques. For example, when we have coverage, you can proceed, but if you don't have enough coverage, we are in a very delicate situation. Then you share this kind of test that can help us to move on with refactoring. Can you share this name of the test?
Yeah, it's called a characterization test.
Yeah, exactly.
And Michael Feathers describes it in his book, Working Effectively with Legacy Code. And what you're effectively doing is locking down the code with unit tests, making sure that you've got code coverage. And yeah, the last exercise we did, we had it was broken up into different functions, and also we had this sort of random value that was stuck in the middle of the code that we had to find a way to control that so that we could run a consistent test on it. So yeah, we had a couple of different tricks we had to play to get it to get us the point of code coverage. The technique I just showed you today is dependent upon you having code coverage, and because otherwise you really can't trust what you're doing. But also it's, I mean, because that's what we're using to figure out what code we can continue to work with, is the code coverage. But also, there are so many ways to refactor. We can practice different refactoring ways. You pick these up as you go along. And this is, I find this to be, if we're able to do the work that we do without thinking too hard, then when it gets to a point where we do have to think hard, we're not going to be exhausted from having studied the code so hard that we're just going to start making sloppy mistakes. So that's why I try to show you these techniques where you can just make tiny little changes. And you've caught me when I've tried to get away with not making tiny changes, and it quickly gets out of hand. And that's why we make it easy to roll back to where we were before.
Yeah, I think that was a very important lesson. And I think it's clear for me this fundamental principle where we have to stick to these fundamentals, where we it is extremely important to make small changes and test very often to make sure that we're not breaking anything. I think this is one of the best takeaways for me until now. And also about this idea of the characterization test, because for me this is something new. And as I said, this is one of the techniques that you can use to ensure that you can move on with our refactoring without spending too much energy, because I think that's a very important point. When we spend too much effort and energy trying to untangle a very complex code, it can make us very tired and you can commit some slop mistakes. So I think that if there are techniques that you can employ to help us to decrease the entropy, the complexity factor that can help us to better manage the complexity, I think that whatever technique that can help us to do that, I think that they are useful, So
yeah,
cool. Thank you. Very, very nice technique. Thanks for sharing.
Okay. Very good. Well, I mean, that's all I have for you today. I just wanted to give you a quick introduction to this kata and an approach to how we might quickly break it up into bite-sized chunks that are useful. And I personally find it really interesting to discover this sulfurous hand of Ragnaros. It doesn't do anything. You've got the one path gets you through to solve one set of problems, and you break it up into what it does for Agebury. You do one, break it up, break out the part for backstage passes, and then everything else is everything else. So wait, that doesn't do anything. And there's no way we would have figured that out had we not gone through steps like this to break it out. So, and we still don't have a clear understanding of how this program works and what it does, right? We took it up, we broke it down into such small pieces. And if we want to add a new item, now it will be relatively easy. We just add a new current item name and do what this default stuff does. So yeah.
Like we clean up the clutter, you just to remove it,
right.
Unnecessary boilerplate, so now I have more clarity. So it's cool.
Yeah, when you're going in refactoring something, it's important to have a goal or an objective that you're trying to reach, rather than just go and clean up stuff for the sake of cleaning it up, because there's a greater than zero chance, if you're shifting code around, that you're going to break something. So you want to have an objective that you're pursuing to do something. And if there's code that hasn't changed in 10 years and it's not likely to change, it's best to just leave it be, even if it is ugly, because it's not going to change and it works the way it does. So yeah, it's best to only refactor when you need to for the code that you need to. And yeah, because otherwise you're just setting yourself up for trouble. I talked to a guy one time who they went and ran SonarQube on their code base, and they did like a full year effort to go and get rid of all the SonarQube messages on their code base. And when they were done, everything was broken. Things were breaking all over the place. And they had to basically undo what they had done and then say, okay, wait a second, let's look at this in a more intelligent way. So they had to go back and say, okay, what is the code that needs to be changed? We'll work on that. And let's take this code that never changes and we're going to leave it alone. It's just trying to get rid of SonarQube messages isn't necessarily making the code better. So, all right, guys, I will.
Maybe a quick one before you leave. Thank you. I was personally here. It was very interesting, and I was a bit tired because I've been working since morning. I'm at office. So,
I understand.
But I understand, yeah. But I will watch the video. But then one interesting point here about the code coverage and like as you're going down, I figured I was doing something here to do with batch processing. Now, what you can do, like so far, what I found that the test you can write for a batch process is maybe to check whether it's complete. Maybe they're extracting data from an Excel sheet and maybe writing it to Mongo or whatever, or Redis, and a huge file. So, but you have a bunch of code, a reader, a processor, a writer, they are extracting data, but only have one test to check whether the batch process is done. Now, that doesn't give you enough coverage if you run code coverage. I just checked, like when you just said that, I had some code open and I have some tests, but then they're not testing all a huge bunch of code, like which is dependent on other and other and other. So what do you do in that case? Whereby the coverage is not really covering the whole code. What do you do in that case?
Well, I mean, if you can't cover everything, I mean, there's times when you just can't cover everything. And if that's the case, then you just have to you have to be more careful about how you're testing things. And when I do that, I lean heavily on the automated refactorings in the application, in the IDE, so that like I'll mainly do like an extract method to try and break up the code in a safe way. And that way I can start to understand what it's doing and have smaller pieces to make it more readable. Or I'll extract variables and that sort of thing. Those are all very safe and you're very unlikely to break the functionality, and it'll help you to gain a better understanding of how the code works. But yeah, before you start shifting things around and doing the sort of surgery we did here, you really need to have code coverage, because you can't trust the changes that you're making are safe. But simple things, like I said, renaming things, getting rid of commented out code, that sort of thing, getting rid of dead code that the IDE says there's no way that you can get to this code. Okay, well then we can delete it. So that sort of thing is safe. But yeah, if you don't have code coverage, then you only want to do the safest of refactorings.
I get it. Thank you, Scott.
Sure.
Thank you.
All righty then. Well, I will let y'all enjoy the rest of your day, and I appreciate the time, and we'll look forward to hanging out again next week.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Feel free to ping me
Thank
during the week
you.
if you have any questions.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
We'll see you all later.
See you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.